Imagine a country of 10 million people living with almost no rivers, no rainfall, and summers so brutal that crops can die in a single afternoon. A place where more than 60% of the land is dry, cracked desert, where underground aquifers have been nearly drained, and where millions of lives should have been defined by scarcity, collapse, and exodus. And yet, this nation didn't just survive. It engineered one of the most advanced water systems on the planet. It forced rivers to flow where no rivers should exist, and turned the Mediterranean Sea into an unlimited reservoir, now supplying up to 80% of the nation's drinking water. In a world where more than 2 billion people already live under severe water stress, this country achieved something almost no other nation in similar conditions ever has. It became water secure, creating a blueprint for how humanity might navigate the water crises of the 21st century. Which country pulled this off, and how did it out-engineer the desert itself? Because the answer is not the country most people would guess. This is the story of Israel, the nation that decided the desert would not have the final word. This is Tomorrow Explained. I'm Dennis Lisak, breaking down the systems, technologies, and decisions shaping the future of our world. If you want clarity on where humanity is heading, you're in the right place. When Israel was founded in 1948, water wasn't just a challenge, it was an existential threat. There are no major freshwater rivers. Annual rainfall is among the lowest in the industrialized world, and more than half the country is desert. By the 1950s, underground aquifers were collapsing under overuse. Agriculture was failing, and entire towns survived on water delivered by trucks. If water is destiny, Israel's destiny looked bleak. But instead of accepting that future, Israel made a rare choice. They would engineer the future they needed, instead of waiting for nature to provide it. In the early 1950s, Israel began constructing one of the most ambitious water projects ever attempted, a 130-kilometer engineered river that moves water from the wetter north into the driest regions of the south. It required thousands of workers, massive tunnels, siphons, pumping stations, pipelines, and millions of tons of earth moved. When it opened, Israel finally had what its geography never gave it, a national artery of water. But even this system couldn't keep up. By the late 1990s, the Sea of Galilee, Israel's main freshwater reservoir, fell to crisis levels. The country wasn't just facing shortages, it was running out. That's when Israel made a radical pivot. Israel doubled down on a solution most experts at the time considered unrealistic: desalination, transforming seawater into freshwater at national scale. Not as an emergency backup, not as a drought supplement, but as the backbone of the country's entire drinking water supply. They built 5 massive desalination plants, including Sorek, one of the largest and most efficient in the world. Today, up to 80% of Israel's household water comes from desalination. The Mediterranean Sea became a reliable, drought-proof reservoir. This wasn't just technological innovation, it was a civilizational transformation. And the reinvention didn't stop there. Israel also recycles over 90% of its wastewater, the highest rate in the world by far. For comparison, the second highest country recycles around 30%. This water is purified and sent directly to agriculture. Crops grow using water that's already been used once before. Israel effectively decoupled food production from natural rainfall, a feat few nations have ever achieved. This closed-loop system now supports more than 500,000 acres of desert agriculture. In the 1960s, Israeli engineer Simcha Blass invented drip irrigation, a technology that delivers water directly to plant roots in tiny, measured amounts. It uses up to 70% less water, produces higher yields, and is now used in more than 100 countries. Israel didn't just solve its own water crisis, it helped the world solve theirs. With desalination, wastewater recycling, and drip irrigation working together, Israel achieved something that once seemed impossible. It turned parts of the Negev desert into productive farmland. Vineyards, date orchards, vegetable fields, hydroponic farms. Satellite images now show green ribbons cutting across a region that should be barren desert. This wasn't just an agricultural victory, it was geopolitical. Because when a nation controls its water, it controls its future. The world is now confronting the same pressures Israel faced decades ago. Aquifers collapsing, rivers drying, extreme heat, mega droughts, population growth, and destabilizing food systems. So can other countries replicate Israel's approach? Yes, but not without challenges. Desalination requires massive energy. Brine disposal must be carefully engineered. High-tech water systems require political stability, and infrastructure demands long-term planning. Still, if the world is moving towards scarcity, Israel has already lived that future and engineered a way through it. Israel's success isn't about luck or geography. It's about systems design, the willingness to build, commit, and invest for decades, even when the payoff is far in the future. The 21st century will be defined by scarcity, water scarcity, energy scarcity, and resource scarcity. But Israel demonstrates something powerful. Scarcity isn't destiny. Systems design is destiny. And in a hotter, drier, more volatile world, the nations that survive will be the ones that engineer their future, not wait for it. If you want deeper, clearer stories about the systems shaping the future of civilization, subscribe and join me for the next episode.